so Houdini is the new single by rapper Eminem. Um,
You sound like Entertainment Tonight.
yeah, I'm trying.
Eminem releases new music this Friday.
Right, it came out on Friday. There's an album coming. We knew that there was an album coming,
The Death of
and
Slim Shady.
the death of Slim Shady is supposed to be his final album. I thought I read that somewhere. I get so
No,
frustrated with the final album talk that I just
you might have
don't.
just stuck it on there.
I either stuck it on there or I tried not to commit it to memory. One of the two. But the point is, because yeah, I think this is supposed to be his last one because doesn't he keep talking about making himself disappear? That's
That
like the
was the
whole
promo
theme
for.
of
This is the Death of Slim Shady. That's all we know.
right. Okay, I gotta look that up. But I thought that was the whole premise of the thing. The point is, Houdini came out, and yeah, what'd you think of it?
Me, after I spoke so much? No, you. What do you think about it?
Well, because here's the thing. I've never really been the hugest Eminem fan. So I think my bias leans in the opposite direction. Like I'm wasn't excited that there was new music coming from Eminem. I don't particularly care. Um
Hmm.
I listen to it because we do this, but otherwise I probably wouldn't have. And it's not to say that he didn't make good music. I just never it like other than the radio hits, it never really stuck with me or like I have listened to Eminem albums. It's not that I've never listened to an album. I just it wasn't something I kept going back to. I knew around the time that he was super popular, I feel like everybody around me was like really really into him and I just never really was. So I will preface it by saying that.
Okay.
Um, I don't think that matters here. Um, because I turned it on and thought to myself, did they just change the words to a song we already knew?
Kind of.
It just sounds exactly like something we've heard or a few things we've heard already. And I am a proud supporter of people who like maintain their sound. I think sometimes that's really important. I think that's more important than R&B than in hip hop. Um Not that you can't switch up your sound. It's just that I think it's okay to be consistent in your sound. There are a lot of people who will say, oh, every time this person puts out an album, it sounds the same. Every time someone creates a cohesive body of work, it should sound like them. Like the songs and things should have changed, but it should still sound like the person that you, whatever. Anyway, so I think in hip hop, it's a little bit different, or maybe a lot different because there's so much you can do in terms of switching up your flow, working with different producers to switch up your beats, like all kinds of things. Um, this to me just sounded like something we had heard already, and not once before, but like a lot of times before. And
What do you mean by that?
it sounds like his other songs.
It sounds like one song specifically, The Real Slim Shady.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, he took lyrics straight from the real Slim Shady. The whole beginning is the real Slim Shady, isn't it?
The beat itself is a remixed version, a redone version,
Of the real.
updated version of the beat of The Real Slim Shady. And yeah, he's rapping in the same cadence and he uses some of the same lines. Yes.
And I believe there's a video, and isn't in the real Slim Shady? He's like running around in costumes also.
Yes, he did that on purpose. Yes. Are you saying songs? What other songs have you heard this?
Oh, I just feel like there was a period of time where a lot of Eminem songs sounded like that, like the real Slim.
Oh, okay. I got what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel
You
like
mean
some of
like
the
the
songs that played.
animated, silly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I got you.
So to me it just felt like more of the same.
Mhm.
I don't know what I expected. he's been gone for a long. Well, I know he's put out music, but I don't think anyone really cared. But he's been gone. Like from his peak, he's been kind of off people's radar for a while, and I just kind of was just like, oh, okay, this sounds, yep, the same.
Yeah, it does.
He didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I think um so the Slim Shady LP and the Eminem Show are the albums where we hear a lot about Slim Shady. Um, that was kind of his peak. Eminem Show is kind of his peak. Um, it was where like he hit like the top. Uh, Eminem Show I think went diamond as well. And what? Why that face?
I didn't know he had an album called Eminem Show.
That's his most famous album, if I'm correct. I think that's the one that went diamond. You know, tons of music off of there. I promise
No,
you.
I believe you. I'm not saying that I don't know the music on the album. I just didn't know that that was an album of his.
Yeah, it's Slim Shady LP,
I know about that one.
Marcel Mathers
I
LP,
know about that one.
and then I think it's Eminem Show, if I'm correct.
Didn't realize that that's what that was called, but okay.
Yeah, and then Encore is where it starts getting weird, and the roller coaster starts going down. Um,
Which one was Rihanna on?
None of those. That came years later.
Okay.
Yeah, those were like the comeback albums, quote unquote.
How many
It
comeback
was
albums were there?
two back to back, and then
But did he really come back, or was he just kind of
time.
hanging out by the door?
It was Relapse and Recovery. What'd you say? Did he what?
I said, did he really come back, or was he just kind of standing by the door?
You're a fool. Well, he had addiction issues and he dove into that. And then Kamikaze was a couple years later. And then that was the one that was like really popular. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I stopped listening to Eminem after Encore. Many people tried to get me to listen to Relapse and Recovery, but right after Relapse came out, he said it sucked. And on Recovery, he says Relapse sucked. And then why would I listen to it if you said it sucked?
You don't even like it, man.
And so I listened to Recovery, and Recovery was cool. A lot of my peers loved the Recovery album. I didn't listen to an Eminem album after that. Because the singles I heard were cool, but didn't really move me to listen to the music. Um,
How many albums does Eminem have?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Like 8,
I would
maybe?
guess, I would guess 10. One of them is a best of. I don't count best of albums,
No, I wouldn't. I mean, like,
but
how many albums did he sit down and like make new music for?
let's find out. Specs on. Okay, Eminem albums, discography. Here we go. Oh, see, I didn't even know there was an. All right, so we got Slim Shady LP. Oh, I don't need to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 3 versions of Relapse.
Oh, okay.
I'm counting that as one album. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, the song with Beyonce. That's interesting. 11, 11 albums. I'm not counting deluxe albums
Mhm.
because there's a few, and I'm not doing that. And there's a re-release of one of them that's like a 10-year anniversary with extra songs. I'm not counting that. There's a couple of them that are deluxe and a couple of them that say expanded edition.
Mhm.
I'm not counting those. So it would be 12. This would be his 13th album, if I'm correct. Um, anyway, when Houdini comes on, you hear the beat of Slim Shady, the real Slim Shady. That was disappointing immediately to me. And then I thought, all right, maybe they're gonna do some cool shit with the beat. There's all type of updated sounds and popular things that are going on in hip hop. They didn't. It was like just an updated version of the beat. He's rapping in a similar style. It's like he's trying to be Slim Shady again, even though the song is called Houdini. It says this is his last trick. He's gonna disappear. It's cool. Yeah, I will say it does sound like some kind of build up to something. I don't know what that is, but this didn't sound good to me. It sounded a lot like the Eminem I never really was a big fan of. Yes, it's true. At the time, everyone and their mother was a fan of the real Slim Shady. It was catchy. It was funny. It had a lot of cool things, a bouncy record. But 20 years later, or close to 20 years later, we don't need that again. It sounds like a lot of the things he was saying were for shock value, and I never was a fan of that Eminem. Uh, because that Eminem started on Real Slim Shady and then just went over the top. And so, and some could say it started before that, but that was the first song where it really was like on a mainstream record and he was ODing on purpose. And I liked Real Slim Shady, but I don't need Real Slim Shady again, 20 years later or close to 20 years later. I did not enjoy this. Um,
You
yeah,
said
I
y'all
heard
missed TRLM.
he what?
You said y'all missed TRLM.
I never missed TRLM. Um, but this is a challenge for me because I thought, oh, maybe he's being serious. I heard his last album was really good, even though I never heard it. Um, I don't think this is for me. I think this is for the people who enjoy uh, the silly animated shock value Eminem. And that's not really my favorite part of Eminem. It's actually why I stopped listening to Eminem. So to me, this was not a good way to start. Uh, but I guess we'll see what he has next.
You
To
want
me,
you want Sweaty Palms, Eminem?
no, that's never been my favorite song either. I like when Eminem is introspective.
And angry.
Um, and sometimes that's angry, but a lot of times introspective. I like when he's creative. Um, I like his storytelling abilities. He used to switch flows a lot. I don't know. He doesn't do that a lot. The songs I heard after a certain time frame, he wasn't doing that. Um, and then in since 2019, 2018, what I've been told, because I haven't really listened much, is just that he wants to prove he's the best with lyrics. And that's why people have not really liked him. He's just been trying to be super lyrical. Uh, and so that's cool, but I don't really need that from Eminem. So I don't know. I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't really know. I'm not the biggest Eminem fan today. Um, I'm not against going back and listening to like the last album that I heard was really good. But there's been a lot of Eminem's album that have passed by that I haven't listened to. So I didn't have high expectations, but I was disappointed when I heard the Slim Shady beat, the real Slim Shady beat come back on. And yes, the video is supposed to be very similar to the old one. He's in the Robin costume and chasing Dr. Dre around, just like the old video.
Are you gonna listen to the album?
For this podcast, I will gladly do so. If it is not for this podcast, I have no interest in hearing it thus far, but maybe the second single will change my mind.
Maybe.
Yeah.
TBT though.